We were the protectors of truth. Democrats, Republicans, you all lie. We, a small band of survivors, are on our way to the Steel City to find the resistance. Join us.
Welcome to the Steel City Resistance with Senior Airman Ward Miller and the ironclad voice of Pittsburgh, Hutch Jr., laying down verbal C4 to blow away the lies and the political tomfoolery. Your papers have been cleared. Welcome to the Steel City Resistance.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Steel City Resistance here on our home base, WAAR. We are America Radio, your number one streaming source for political and government talk everywhere. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr., deep down in the bunker in the city of Pittsburgh in my Smith & Wesson studio. Let's welcome Ward Miller from another part of town. Good evening, Ward.
Good evening, Hutch. How you been?
Not bad. It's been a while. I wasn't sure if you were going to remember which buttons to push, and we linked right up, though. No problem.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing at first because, you know, I am kind of slow and backward that way, but it looks like we made a connection, so we're good to go.
Yes, sir. Chat room is open on Spreaker. Just go to steelcityresistance.blogspot.com for any links if you need them. Also, please follow me on Spreaker, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/steelcityresistance. Ward puts a lot of work into that. The call-in line is 412-567-1460 if you'd like to join the program. Again, the website steelcityresistance.blogspot.com, and if you can, there's a donate button on the right-hand column that's always there. No need to, but if you can, we appreciate it. Like I said, Ward, we're back. Had a couple-week hiatus on the live shows, but we got the opportunity to bring back some older material, and it's just amazing when you look through the old show notes and the old episodes. Little pat on the back, how on the money we really were.
Yeah, we were way ahead of our time.
You know, there's a couple areas that really rings true too. I mean, you had a congresswoman from Hawaii that went Gabbard, I forget her, Tulsi Gabbard, that went to Syria, Ward, and she uncovered the most amazing thing, that there are no moderate rebels over there, that they're all Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra. And I remember talking about that the first week of this. Well, as soon as we said that we were going to start supporting the Free Syrian Army, I remember you and I breaking it down and saying, wait a minute, wait, what are we doing here? You know, we were spot on.
Yeah, I mean, it's no big shock. I mean, and basically that was what Benghazi was founded on, is they were running guns through Turkey and supplying ISIS. Because, for all intents and purposes, ISIS is the rebel army that was opposing Assad. And, you know, we funded them.
We did. And at the beginning, there was a small group at the beginning, the Free Syrian Army, but they got eaten. I remember doing an episode talking about it. They went in, they took their weapons.
Yeah, it's just they were overrun, and
right.
They weren't even overrun. They basically, ISIS showed up, and the Iraqi army dropped their stuff and ran. They turned tail, and they ended up with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it was absolutely. It's just the thing that really got me was, and to this day, there are otherwise Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're so competent if they can't figure this out. And we're sitting in Pittsburgh and we can figure it out. But you've got other prominent members of Congress that won't let this go.
The other thing is, too, you don't know who's putting money in their pocket.
Exactly.
Nobody's putting money in our pocket, so we can say whatever we want and we can be right. We're allowed to be right.
That's absolutely right. Let's welcome Adrian to the program from Ontario. Good evening. A little early in the show, but how you doing? And he's not there. So, Adrian, you there? Take your mute off. Okay, see ya. It didn't work. But yeah, this whole situation that's going on right now. First of all, let's listen to Donald Trump's weekly address to the American people and just assess that real quick.
Fellow Americans, 1 week ago, our administration assumed the enormous responsibilities that you, the American people, have placed in us. There is much work to do in the days ahead, but I wanted to give you an update on what we have accomplished already. In my first few days as your president, I've met with the leaders of some of our nation's top manufacturing companies and labor unions. My message was clear. We want to make things in America, and we want to use American workers. Since my election, many companies have announced they are no longer moving jobs out of our country, but are instead keeping and creating jobs right here in America. Every day, we are fulfilling the promise we made to the American people. Here are just a few of the executive actions that I have taken in the last few days in order to prepare for repealing and replacing Obamacare. It's about time. The withdrawal from the Trans-Pacific Partnership so that we can negotiate one-on-one deals that protect American workers. That would have been a disastrous deal for our workers. In order to begin construction of the Keystone and Dakota Access pipelines following a renegotiation of terms with a requirement that pipelines installed in America be built with American steel and manufactured here. A directive to expedite permits for new infrastructure and new manufacturing plants in order to immediately begin the border wall and to crack down on sanctuary cities. They are not safe. We have to take care of that horrible situation. This administration has hit the ground running at a record pace. Everybody's talking about it. We're doing it with speed, and we're doing it with intelligence, and we will never, ever stop fighting on behalf of the American people. God bless you, and God bless America.
So there you have it. That was the weekly address. It's something that we didn't get during the Obama administration too often. But let's welcome Michelle.
Well, maybe that was because he didn't do anything.
Yeah, right. Let's welcome Michelle. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Hutch. Thanks for taking my call. I'm calling you from Canada, and we have a few concerns up here concerning, we're very happy that Donald Trump's done the total ban on the immigrants or refugees from those listed countries. But our idiot Prime Minister has opened the doors wide to everyone that wants to come in. And we Canadians don't have a say in it, basically. And we are trying to tweet like crazy on our Twitters to all of our MPs and, our local representatives of government to say we're not happy about it. But basically, it's being enforced on us. And if we say anything, we're considered to be Islamophobics. And in fact, there's an MP in Parliament standing up to introduce a bill to say we have no right to call, how we feel, and we could be charged, a criminal charge for saying how we feel.
Well, I think you already have a sizable Muslim population up there already, right?
Yeah, we do. That's the trouble.
Well, the other thing is, too, Trudeau just met with George Soros, and right after that meeting is when the announcement came that we welcome all, that they're welcoming all the refugees. Now, the thing is, these people aren't refugees, and they learned that in Germany. right?
Yep, they did. That's exactly right. But you know what? It's going to take someone to blow up the CN Tower. It's going to take some highfalutin MP's daughter to get raped or gang raped in Toronto and be put on YouTube for any of these idiots to do anything about it. I'm as mad as hell.
I would be,
and
too.
you should be.
Yeah, and we have no guns, so it's not like we can shoot them. My husband and I live in the country. I'm actually thinking about going out and buying a crossbow in case so-and-so's come up my driveway. At least I can defend myself.
You should have something, that's for sure. And you guys need to, hopefully you can turn this around, because it's getting pretty bad. This Trudeau guy,
He's a
follow
pinhead.
the money. Follow the money. If Soros talked to him, he left with some money.
Oh, sure he did. And then he went to the Aga Khan in the Bahamas and spent some time there in his, fancy place and whatnot. And he's a Muslim as well. So, we're all convinced that Trudeau's actually turned the corner and he's not of our faith anymore, and he's actually a practicing Muslim.
Well, we just had one of those, so
Yeah.
we're kind of even.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. You just passed it up here.
Thanks for the call, Michelle.
Okay, thanks, Hutch. Bye.
All right, so what we're going to do, Ken, hold on. I see you there, buddy, but I got to get my program together here. So, okay, let's not do that. Just give me a minute here, and you can try back as soon as I can get my wingman. Oh, okay, there you go. Now I can get you back. Ken from King George, what's going on?
Hey, Hutch. Hey, you were talking about stuff that was made in America. Well, I'm kind of a Mustang nut. And,
Okay.
well, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a company called BBK. I believe they're out of California, but I'm also restoring a 95 pickup truck. It's got 302 in it. And ordered a set of headers for it, and a long time ago, they just had their BBK logo on it, but when I bought this set of headers, the box that showed up, it said, born, designed, and made in America. And I couldn't be more proud to spend the extra amount of money that I needed to spend on this set of headers. And
That's a good story, man.
So, there are still things that are made in America, but there's a small niche of things that are still made here.
Well, I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see that come on the uptick with Trump. In fact, I just watched an interview today with Jimmy Hoffa from the Teamsters, and he's very excited about the meeting he had with Trump and Trump bringing back jobs to the auto industry and the Teamsters. They're putting people back to work. Part of the pipeline deal was they were only going to use American steel. That was part of the executive order for the Keystone Pipeline. So that's outstanding.
I heard that too. So,
yeah.
But I also have some issues with UAW. With it, if you look at, Jesus, what's his name? I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he did a lot of specialized Mustangs, and when a lot of these factories were closing down in Detroit, he was kind of capitalizing on the.
I guess you're talking about Shelby, maybe. I don't know, but
well,
anyway,
not so much Shelby, but oh Jesus, I like I said, I can't remember his name, but he did a lot of specialized stuff. They brought up a lot of these abandoned factories in Detroit, and these guys were not union employees, and the UAW went just absolutely berserk.
Who, DeLorean?
So, no, it wasn't DeLorean.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Steve Failing.
But the thing is that the main point here, and thanks for the call, Ken, the main point is that at the beginning, we're probably going to have to pay a little bit more. I mean, the infrastructure is in solidly in place for this import economy that we have. And there's a couple reasons why Chinese products are cheaper. One, they're cheaper. and the other
it doesn't cost them nothing to make it. I mean, the labor cost is nothing.
Absolutely. So there it is. And like we said here, like Michelle said, Trudeau's tweeting out that all refugees are welcome in Canada, so it sucks to be over there right now. And the Secret Service agent that came out and said she would not take a bullet for the president has been, and the government's the only place this would happen. She's on paid leave. So they put her on vacation.
The thing is, if you're a Secret Service agent, that's your job. That's in the job description. Is you're going to put yourself in harm's way for the president of the United States or whoever your charge is, whether it's the first lady, whatever. And the fact that she came out and said, "I'm not going to take a bullet," she should immediately have lost her job. Period.
Well, she can't be too smart, because if you join a career, if you start a career that you expect to be long, and you do it in the Secret Service, you can't go in there and be political, because there's going to be both parties in there.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're going to go 25, 30 years, you got to be stupid if you think your guy's going to be in there all the time. I mean, she should have prepared for that long beforehand.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
It's like the military.
Yeah.
I didn't like Bill Clinton, but I would have done anything he told me to do.
Well,
up to a lawful order.
Well, it's the same thing as these guys that, before the first Gulf War that we're in, and when they got sent to war, they're trying to they all went. You had a bunch that went AWOL and whatnot because they joined the military just for the college benefits.
I saw a doctor do that. A doctor that was trained by the Army.
Yeah.
Say that he wasn't going to go. It's like, well, you shouldn't be able to earn another nickel in the profession that the Army taught you.
I totally agree. I mean, that's part of that's what you signed up for, dude.
Absolutely. Now let's listen to another jackwagon. I mean, this senator has gone completely nuts. This is Senator Elizabeth Warren, and we know that the leftists, Pocahontas. Yeah, the leftists have gone to into the protest mode over these. And the thing is, it's not Muslims; it's everybody that's in that country, in the 7 countries that President Obama decided these 7 countries were dangerous. So we revived what Obama wrote and put teeth in it. And now people are going crazy saying that it's anti-religion. And no, it's everybody from these countries.
Hold on a second. Let's clarify this. Number one, it's not a ban on Muslims.
Right.
It's a ban on Muslims from specific countries.
Everybody from the country.
Yeah. It's all Muslims. And this is not unprecedented. Jimmy Carter did the same thing to Iranians during the Iranian hostage crisis. He took anybody that was Iranian or a Shiite that was in college, whatnot. He threw them out of the country. He ejected them from the country and didn't allow any in. Which and you don't hear anybody say anything about that. There was no backlash. There was nothing about that. Obama did the same thing in 2011 to Iraq. For 6 months, there was no Iraqis allowed into the United States. Did the media say anything about that? No, they did not. So when Trump comes in and says, "Okay, we're going to just, hit the pause button," he didn't say he's going to stop it. He said we're going to stop it for 6 months,
90 days, or whatever. It is.
Yeah, it's whatever, 3 months, 6 months. And he said we're going to figure out how we can vet these guys, because you.
All right, so I hit the wrong button again and cut Ward off, but Ward's right back in there because that's how quick he is.
Yeah. So what you have to do. Oh, you're playing the Warren clip?
No, it was only 5 seconds of him getting cut off. Yeah, sorry, Ken. Bye, Ken. Oh boy, I hate when that happens, man. You hit the wrong button and it's for the group call. I thought I still had him on the line. I was trying anyway. So anyway, a sitting senator is up there, and she is at JFK Airport at a protest. And I want you to listen to her. Tell me she doesn't sound like somebody at Occupy Wall Street. Senator Elizabeth Warren, ladies and gentlemen.
Make our voices heard all around this world. We will make our voices heard all around this world. We have all heard about has given. We have all heard about this order that President Trump has given. It is illegal. It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. It will be overturned. It will be overturned. It's immoral. An attack on anyone. An attack on anyone. For their religious beliefs. For their religious beliefs. Is an attack. Is an attack on the very foundation of democracy. On the very foundation of democracy. We will not turn away children. We will not turn away children. We will not turn away families. We will not turn away families. We will not turn away people who tried to help Americans. We will not turn away people who tried to help Americans. We will not turn away anyone because of their religion. We will not turn away anyone because of their religion. We are a better people than that. We are a better people than that. It is an honor. It is an honor to be here with you. To be here with you. To stand with you. To stand with you. To speak with you. To speak with you. And most of all. And most of all. To fight shoulder to shoulder with you. To fight shoulder to shoulder with you. And
What were those little finger sprinkles they did at the Occupy Wall Street? That's what they should have done that there. I mean, what an embarrassment, Ward.
Kind of like jazz hands.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, you realize what she's doing, right? She's setting herself up to run for president in 2020. I mean, that's her goal. She's going to run for president, and the Democrats are going to put her up because she's a woman, and she's going to fulfill Hillary's dream. That's the objective. Odds are she's probably not going to finish. I mean, the latest polling in Massachusetts says she's probably going to lose her seat in 2 years.
Did Kurt Schlichter ever even announce yet? Not Schlichter, Schilling.
Yeah,
Kurt Schilling was saying he was going to run against her.
Well, he hasn't even announced yet. But her poll numbers are so low, I could run against her and win.
What's wrong with all these Democrat women? Well, not just Democrats. Susan Collins is the same way. They have this alien way of talking, their voices. When I listen to Elizabeth Warren, it's like that's not a real person.
Well, that was kind of like Ashley Judd at that women's march. You know, I am a nasty woman. Yes, you are.
Oh,
you're
disgusting.
Dirty, filthy. I'm gonna keep good so we don't have to get that explicit tag again.
I had to use that a couple of shows ago too.
Yeah, because early on I was kind of bad.
No, it wasn't with you. But I know what you mean, though. Hey, it's got listeners, so whatever. But I do want to try to keep it clean a little bit. Might end up getting a little bit of a bigger audience. But, you know, that thing was foul. I mean, you couldn't cover that and not use some kind of at least foul descriptions. I mean,
what I don't understand is how Madonna came out and said that she had actually thought of blowing up the White House. That should have immediately launched a Secret Service investigation, and she should have had her passport revoked, and she should not have been allowed to leave the country.
I'll tell you who else ought to have their passport revoked is all the people in the State Department that were forced to resign and the Border Patrol chief that was forced to resign. I think they ought to keep all them here, too, until Jeff Sessions gets about six months to a year on the job. I want to make sure that anything that's uncovered here, that people pay for it, because some real shenanigans occurred over the last 8 years, some treasonous stuff that we don't even know about yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're still turning over rocks. I mean, like Obama sending the Palestinian Authority $221 million on his final day, and Trump caught it. And he froze the money and said, no, it's not going there.
What about the pallets of cash that went to Iran?
Oh, yeah.
On a hostage deal.
$400 million.
In cash.
Yeah.
I mean, this goes immediately into the arms market. You know,
got
it's
that
unbelievable. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, your weekly Jihad report From January 21st to January 27th, 37 jihad attacks, 275 killed, 228 injured, 4 suicide blasts, all this in 12 countries. The Religion of Peace atrocity of the week, suicide bomber strikes with a baby on her back. Other recent misunderstandings of Islam. On the 28th in Iraq, a bomb targeting refugees fleeing the caliphate brings down 4. On the 25th in Nigeria, a suicide bomber blows himself up at a rival mosque, killing a guard. Isn't it great when your churches need guards? On the 25th in Somalia, Religion of Peace activists stage a suicide assault on a hotel, killing at least 28 others, and leftists in America are up in arms that we have stopped refugees coming in from that peaceful country. On the 24th, also in Somalia, a woman dies trying to defend her farm against an Islamist attack. On the 23rd in Nigeria, Boko Haram slaughters 8 villagers and kidnaps 7 women. On the 23rd in Kenya, Al-Shabaab members throw explosives at a bank and food kiosk, killing a guard. The Religion of Peace, ladies and gentlemen, one body at a time.
All right, Hutch, I got to do a rewind real quick. Because we missed this, and it came about before the inauguration, and I just had to bring it up because the disgusting beast that she is, Rosie O'Donnell, came out, and she actually called for martial law to delay the inauguration. Did you see this?
I did.
And it's like, does she even understand what martial law is? I don't think she does. She has to have no clue what martial law is to even say that. It just shocked me. It's like, you know what? You're not going to be able to jump in your car and go for your latte because the streets will be patrolled by the military, and they don't let you just travel wherever you want to go when martial law is imposed. I mean, it's like a lockdown. And really, putting this country under martial law would be almost impossible. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, when you look at the logistics of it all, I mean, this is a big country. But still, that doesn't mean that she didn't want that, and like you said, probably doesn't know what it means. But it's amazing the way these peaceful, openness, honest, loving leftists turn militant in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
They will turn communist right now.
Well, what I think's funny is a bunch of these celebtards out there in Hollywood said that they're going to go on strike until Trump resigns. And it's like, you know what? Quit doing this. I don't need to give you money. I don't pay you for your opinion. I don't pay you for, like that stuff with Meryl Streep come out, and she says, she lectures everybody about holding power to account. And she's the same person who gave a child rapist, Roman Polanski, a standing ovation in 2003.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the hypocrisy's everywhere in the left. It's just absolutely everywhere. 412-567-1460 if you'd like to join the program. Now, these refugees, it was amazing to me how quickly the enforcement of this took place. I mean, they were nailing people on the weekend. I mean, a lot of people. Turning back planes and everything else, and these refugees are stunned. Now, some of them are refugees, but some of these people, when it's 90-1, 90-10, all military-age males,
yeah,
like the Syrians. I mean, some of the other countries weren't necessarily like that, but the Syrians certainly were.
Well, the thing is, in fact, I just saw a picture of it. They actually built refugee camps in Saudi Arabia for the Muslims that were fleeing Syria. And they had enough to house 3 million people. They had electricity, they had air conditioning,
plumbing, everything, whole 9 yards.
They were still all ready to go. You know what I mean?
I do, but Saudi Arabia won't let them in.
Well, they were going to let them in. And then all of a sudden, when you have Paris taking them in and Germany, France and Germany taking them all in, they were like, well, we don't need that headache. Go.
And there's the only country of consequence that's taking any refugees, and they're opening the valve into Germany as they go, is Turkey. but it's just like a holding pen until they get into Europe. Big Rich from New York, what's going on?
Gentlemen, good evening. Hutch, when have governors, mayors, and judges, have they forgotten to uphold the law of the United States?
Apparently. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this all goes down. You know, because there's going to be a clash.
Well, there's
at some
definitely
point in time.
Sorry.
Well, there's definitely going to be a clash with New York, because de Blasio is going to fight it, going to fight the sanctuary city thing. Rahm Emanuel's already vowed to fight it, and it's like, okay, yeah, send them all to Chicago. They'll end up shot anyway.
And California's saying that they're not going to pay federal tax, and it'll be interesting.
And this governor we have, Mario Cuomo, I mean, he's actually telling the federal officer to stay down, don't do no arrest. Oh my God.
It's funny how when the shoe was on the other foot, all the liberals were saying, state governments can't do that. They can't say that they don't want any refugees. But now that the federal government's Donald Trump, they're singing a different tune.
It's true. They swear on the Bible to upheld and protect the American citizens. And they're going against all the beliefs when they swear into office. I just don't get it. What's going on? These people are losing their mind by the minute. Over here in New York, they're going crazy. Another thing that I saw on TV, Pakistan flags, Iranian flags waving. I was like, oh my! I was pulling my hair by the minute seeing this on TV.
I'll tell you what, Rich. I'll tell you what. Don't let them get you down, man. They're trying to do that. They're doing that.
No, they ain't getting me down. I'm just getting aggravated, and it's time for us Americans to start standing up to these opposition and tell them, get the hell out of the United States. Start protesting for something that we voted for. We voted for this.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Hey, Rich, thanks for the call.
Thank you.
The thing is, too, is that people are standing up for it. The Border Patrol agents said they're not going to listen to this judge. They're going to continue doing their jobs.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see more and more of that.
Yeah, I believe that you're right. It's just, it's out of hand. I mean, all these protests. The protest the day after the inauguration, if you talk to 10 different people, you got 10 different explanations on what this march is for. Nobody knew.
No.
Other than the opportunity to get some attention. The thing is, they were marching. They said they were marching for women's rights, and I'm all for women's rights. But my question is, what rights exactly are being taken away from women in the United States? You have the right to vote. You have the right to drive. You have the way to dress the way you want. What right has been taken away from you, especially by Trump, who wasn't even in the Oval Office for 24 hours?
You're walking down the street in your clean clothes, you're warm, drinking your sterilized water with a full belly, and you're bitching about what?
Exactly.
What exactly? Now, by the looks of the crowd, they weren't very blessed at birth, by the looks of the crowd.
No, and the thing is,
you got to admit, that was not the beautiful people.
No, but if they wanted to go, if you want to go have a protest for women's rights, do it in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
Do it in Syria. Do it in these Muslim countries that actually take away women's rights and don't let them vote.
The same people that are marching for women's rights are the same people that are at the airport marching for Islamic rights. They're stupid. They don't know that they're marching against. Every time I see women that are protesting, against this, it drives me nuts, man.
It's just the same as the Queers for Palestine.
Yeah,
same thing. And I'm not saying that in a disparaging way. That was their name, Queers for Palestine. They had banners made up with it, and it's like, do you understand? If you were in Palestine, they'd be throwing you off of rooftops because that's
Palestine is Jordan, really. There is no Palestine.
Well, yeah, whatever. But you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, and it's right. I mean, it's crazy. These people. They're so uneducated, and they probably have more formal education than me and you put together, but they're stupid.
Well, no, they spent more time in an indoctrination center than we did.
That's right.
That's the thing. I didn't go to an indoctrination center. I went to the military.
We got to fix that, man. That I don't know how you do it, but we got to fix that higher education thing because it's it's hurting us. Now, another knucklehead that was out there, he ran for vice president with Hillary Clinton, Tim Kaine. You can't make his stuff up. Accuses Donald Trump of Holocaust denial because they came out with a statement on the anniversary. On Sunday morning, he came out and said that Trump was guilty of Holocaust denial. Kaine based his argument on the complaint that Trump's statement on International Holocaust Remembrance Day did not specifically mention Jews. Doesn't this guy have anything better to do?
Well, no, he's a moron. I mean, really, Benjamin Netanyahu is so happy that Donald Trump is in the White House other than Hillary Clinton, and he's really happy Barack Obama's gone. But Netanyahu loves Trump. In fact, he's one that came in and said, yeah, build a wall. He says, I built a wall, and it stopped a bunch of our problems.
I saw that. That was pretty nice.
So, yeah.
Like zero illegal immigrants.
And that's the thing. I mean, you actually have a president now that embraces the Israelis, that actually turns to them and looks to them as the true allies in that region. They're the only true allies we have in that region. And the fact that Trump's actually, standing up for him and, was one of his first calls when he got elected, that's outstanding.
Well, you look at the way Netanyahu was treated by Obama.
Yeah.
Made him come in the back door.
Oh, yeah, and he wouldn't let him talk to Congress. I mean, it was ridiculous. What he did, what he did to him was a disgrace. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. It was a flat out disgrace, and
especially when the other hand was recognizing the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, and really took down all the governments that were, maybe we didn't agree with everything they did, but they were successfully keeping the terrorism down. All the secular governments went down.
Oh yeah, Egypt. Egypt,
Libya, Syria.
Well, Libya went down. That was Hillary. Hillary wanted that for, and I don't know why she wanted. Well, we know why they wanted to destabilize Libya. The same reason they wanted to destabilize Syria, and the same reason they wanted to destabilize Egypt. And I'm sure Turkey was on the list. They just didn't get around to it. It's just,
all right. You know what I'm going to do here? I want to go over. I like talking about language. I think it's very important. And maybe we can go back and forth on these. I want to get a couple of these in. These are some liberal. This is a liberal translation guide. 20 more translations of things that liberals say. And I thought it was real interesting, and it's something that you really need to know.
Hutch, somebody in the Dana in the chat room says your volume has dropped way low.
That's what I'm looking at too. I'm seeing that myself. Let me see if I can do something with that right here. See if I can bump it up a little bit or not. I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not. It doesn't appear that I'm going to be able to. I don't know if it's something in Spreaker. Talk for a little bit, Ward.
Okay, so I'll take over from what Hutch was saying about our liberal translation guide. First thing is dressing up as a giant vagina in public for the liberals is the best way to preserve the dignity of women.
Nazi. Germans who attempted to take over the world during World War II, and members of the American Nazi Party. Oh, and Donald Trump. And Mitt Romney, too. George W. Bush, of course. Definitely all the Tea Party members and people who voted for Trump. Conservatives in general? Sure, come to think of it, pretty much every American who doesn't agree with any part of the liberal agenda.
Well, then again, there's the fetus, a life-sucking parasite with no soul that feeds off the life of a woman and should be destroyed via abortion before you have a party celebrating its demise, unless you want the fetus, in which case it's a sweet, loving baby.
Corporate welfare, something that's horrible and should never happen unless it involves Planned Parenthood, PBS, or NPR.
Fake news. News from non-liberal sources, which are by definition fake because they make you stick your hands in your ears and yell, la, la, la. I don't want to hear from conservatives. La, la, la.
Stolen election. Relatively close elections that Republicans must have won with the help of Vladimir Putin, Jeb Bush, or the Koch brothers.
Homophobes. Christians who believe that almost universally agreed upon standards of male-female marriage that existed for thousands of years until liberals decided the foundation of our civilization isn't trendy enough.
So there you get it, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of the way these people communicate, and it's I don't know. It's ridiculous. It really is. People fall for it all the time, though.
Camelot Farm brought up something in the chat room that said that both NPR and PBS should be funded by taxpayer dollars. And it's interesting because Trump actually has that budget. That is a line item budget that they were talking about killing was all the money that went for the performing arts, because it's like $140 million a year for stuff that most people don't even, NPR. Most people don't watch PBS. They watch PBS so that they can sound like they're snooty or something. And I watch PBS. I
watch it every now and then. But it's the thing about PBS is if you watch any of the documentaries or anything like that, which they have some good ones, but you'll see at the end all the foundations that fund this too. I mean, this is like the Tides Foundation, all kinds of Soros, different things. So it's I don't know that it's even necessary to fund it with taxpayer dollars. I think that's just...
It shouldn't be. It should be... it should be funded by private... if you want to watch, something that's just plain George Soros all the time, fine. But that's basically what NPR is. You listen to NPR, you get the total liberal point of view. You don't get... it's not even, not to quote Fox, but it's not fair and balanced. It's all the liberal agenda. And, right now it's all on... everybody hates Trump.
Yep, you're right. And it's Planned Parenthood, too. There's a lot of things that we should stop funding.
Well, that was another executive order Trump signed to stop funding abortions in Planned Parenthood.
Well, that's good. That's an abortion mill, too. That's something else. I forget how many abortions percentage-wise that they perform, but it's a ton of them. It's a whole lot of them. It should be stopped for sure.
Well, the thing is, and they try and claim this as a woman's health issue. The Planned Parenthood provides women's health issue. And I seen a thing where they said that they provide counseling, right? And so this woman calls around from one Planned Parenthood to the other in different states, everything, and says, I'd like to, come in and talk to a counselor. And they say, oh, we don't do that. But then
I saw that. And they called something like 90 of them.
Yeah. And they played the clip from Planned Parenthood, said we offer counseling and we don't just do abortions. And basically everybody that they called, they said, well, all we do here is abortions. We don't do any kind of counseling.
Yeah, I played that tape last week. It was amazing. And it was one right after the other, too. It wasn't just a one of. It was all of them. They were steadfast in their pushing of abortions. And they said, the sonograms, we just use them so we can tell how far along the baby is so we know how to abort it.
Yeah.
It's sick. It is. And that's what a lot of those people were out there for the march, the Women's March. That was all about killing babies.
Oh, sure it was. Absolutely.
But the left, once again, is the champion of the English language and has taken the verbiage, the true verbiage, what really happens, taken that out of the equation and made it women's health or whatever, Planned Parenthood. There's no parents being planned at Planned Parenthood, that's for sure.
No.
So anyway, we've seen all this stuff going on around the country. The liberals' heads are exploding. And, as usual, Ward, Pittsburgh embarrasses itself. They have thousands of people at JFK Airport, or hundreds, however many, protesting, and Pittsburgh sent about 12 people out to the airport, I guess. Out of Pittsburgh Airport. It's nuts.
The sad thing is, our mayor was out there.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind he was.
No, he was sending tweets and stuff from there, and it's like, you're not really proving anything. You're just proving you're a jackass. Stop.
Absolutely. Yes, stop. I mean, and this guy goes against the cops and everything.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
and the thing is, the bottom line is, okay, now if I want somebody to go up and confront him and say, hey, did you know that Barack Obama did the exact same thing in 2011? And did you know that Jimmy Carter did the exact same thing in 1979? And see what he says. See what kind of a defense he can come up with.
Yeah, he's bad. I mean, there's no question. And he always was, but, I don't know. The guy's embarrassing. He just is. He's completely embarrassing. The people don't think, he'd have as many Muslims in here in Pittsburgh as he could. And I think the initial Syrian manifest that I saw, half of them were going to Squirrel Hill. Why would you do that?
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, Squirrel Hill is a Jewish neighborhood in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that would have been bad on every level, because if you want to see, bad things happen, and I live right next to Squirrel Hill, so, it would have got ugly real quick.
And, the thing about it is, and this is something that always blew me away, wherever there's Jews, there's Arabs. If you go in Squirrel Hill, that's where the Middle Eastern food is. That's where they live fine together, right next to each other. There's a halal store right next to a kosher store. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but, I mean, you're not talking about bringing over a bunch of, militants who want to, impose Sharia law. I mean, and that's really what they want to do. They don't have any intention on coming to the United States and assimilating and pursuing the American dream that the liberals want you to think that they want to do. They want to come here and they want to dominate. And that is their entire manifesto, is we're going to come in and we're going to take over the show, and we're going to impose Sharia law, and you're going to do what we say. And really, they were able to bully their way into a lot of other countries. I don't, especially like France and Germany, places that have gun laws where you can't carry a gun and you can't own a gun, that have a little bit of a problem here, because pretty much everybody I know has a gun.
At least 10.
Well,
people I know.
Well,
but yeah, you're right. But the thing that gets me is people on the fringe. A lot of leftists are on the fringe, man. They don't know what gender they are and all these other things that are going on. And you're gonna invite Muslims that are right from the battlefield to your neighborhood? Are you suicidal?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. I mean, there's no sense.
Yeah, since when did the left make sense? I never even tried to get it to the point where they, where I thought they made sense. It's just ridiculous. It's a shame that it just amazes me how these people who, going back to the actors and the celebtards, as I like to call them, it just amazes me how they'll come out and they have this holier than thou, I'm going to talk down to you attitude, and expect me to pay you to pretend you're someone else. I'm paying you to pretend. I could get my grandchild and say, pretend you're a rabbit, and she'd just hop around like a rabbit all day, and I don't have to pay her a dime.
That's it. I mean, and you look at some of the intellectual laziness on the left. This is from Joseph Archer. My wife parroted the comment that secondhand smoke is worse for you than firsthand smoke. I was struck by the obvious insanity of the statement, and more importantly, the intellectual laziness of subscribing to it. Now, it's not entirely impossible that 100% of a toxin is less harmful than 5% of a toxin. Perhaps air dilution multiplies the toxicity. But to readily accept that assertion is simply intellectual laziness. It would take some really conclusive evidence to believe such a claim, and that evidence does not exist. Let's say hello to Carrie from Florida. Good evening, Carrie.
Good evening, Mr. Bailey. Good evening, Mr. Miller.
Hey, Carrie, how you doing?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be in glory, my brother. Okay.
I hear you.
Well, this is what I want your listening audience to understand. What they're seeing. They're seeing the swamp being drained. Is what they're seeing. Now,
and they can't handle it.
Well, no. That is the swamp being drained. That is what happens when you come in and you start kicking people out and you start applying the law. Then all the snowflakes, they melt, and they just they do exactly what they're doing. But that's by design.
Sure.
That's by design because it does two things. One, now we know what camp that they're in. And two, they're trying to do what they do best, which is cause another situation to simply distract from a solution. We all know the problem. We all know what happens when these immigrants come in. But the people that are fighting for the immigrants to come in, they're the ones that say, oh, I'm not going to take in any of them.
Well, the thing is too,
Go ahead.
Gary, well, if you think about it, I mean, all of the Trump has done in the past, he's been in a week. He's done more in the last week than Obama's done in the last 8 years. All right?
Of course.
Number one, he wrote an executive order that says you got to follow the law. All
right?
Correct. As far as the people coming across the border and into Texas and whatnot, you follow the law, you arrest them, and you send them back. I mean, that's all he did is said, you got to follow the law that's on the books. He didn't use executive orders to bypass Congress. He used executive orders that said, you got to follow the law, which basically undid everything that Obama did, where his executive order said, okay, yeah, I know that there's a law that says you can't send them back, but you can't send them back. So that's
what I just did, Mr. Mills. I just posted in the chat room Donald Trump's statement concerning the executive order. And that's exactly what he said. What you just said, verbatim. It's the law. Yeah. It's the law. Now, what these judges are doing, what these judges have done, is they haven't done anything to prevent this executive order to not be in effect. All they did was cause a scene, stir up problems. The orders that they're issuing has no effect on this thing. Now you hear
you're absolutely right, because the immigration officials at the airports are the ones saying, we don't care what order the judge signed, they're still detaining them.
Well, the order that the judge signed was to say that people that are currently here cannot be deported. Well, guess what? That's not what the executive order said. The executive order said we're not going to let people come in. So it's, again, Mr. Bailey hit it right on the head. It's all about semantics. It's all about verbiage. Well, it's all about creating a scene. Well, and then watch this. You're gonna get it. Mr. Schumer comes out and puts four Caucasian children, redheads, whiter than white, and has one of the girls with a little thing as if this is who he's preventing from coming in. That's not who he's preventing from coming in.
No.
That's not it. And if you listen to what he said, Schumer says, well, this must be withdrawn. If it was illegal, then it would be withdrawn. He's just stirring the pot. Folks, the swamp is being drained, the law is being applied, and all these people are going to go to prison. All these people are doing out there is just showing us exactly who they are. Don't get nervous. Don't get upset. Everything's fine and dandy. Because we now have somebody. Thank you so much, Mr. Bailey.
Hickory, what's on your mind, buddy?
Well, them lawyers are just having a field day. I mean, it's always good to have work guaranteed. And whatever's going on, they're trying to make a buck, especially in the immigration department.
Oh my goodness, yes, sir. We're at the brink of seeing so many lawsuits. It's going to become sickening.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean, you look at the mainstream media. The headline on all three of the major networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, was "This is causing chaos."
It reflects the LA Times. That's what it does. It's a reflection because they're not doing any legwork on their own.
No, but what they're calling it is chaos, and it's not chaos.
No,
they're making it chaotic.
Everything that they say is chaos. We've been living under their construct for a long time, Ward.
Yo, you're absolutely right, Hickory. 8 years is a long time to. I mean,
even before that, I mean, the media has ever since Walter Cronkite and the Tet Offensive, they've been subversive.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even with Cronkite, though, I mean, Cronkite was probably one of the few.
No, you're wrong. He said he was a communist.
Cronkite was an undercover.
Really, he was and here's the thing,
well, you just taught me something because I didn't realize that.
When you take a look at the British spies like Kim Philby, he was a newspaper reporter. Richard Helms went into journalism. He interviewed Hitler at the 36 Olympic Games. He's later director of Central Intelligence. I mean, what you have, I mean, everything points to what's going on right now. Everything. It's not, instead of looking at the way that the media wants to paint it, take a look at who is behind the media, and you'll find the intelligence. You'll find it in all entertainment media. And mass hypnosis.
And where did McCarthy go? Straight to Hollywood when he started
I don't know.
out.
But, Hutch, when you talk about what's going on, who can influence everything? Like we had the anti-hero, coming into Hollywood after the McCarthy scare. We had to have an anti-hero. We had to have a bad boy. And at about the same time, LSD starts popping up on the streets in California, an unknown drug. It all has a trail.
Well, you look at back to Cronkite for a minute. We don't have too much time here, but back to Cronkite. You look at the reporting that he did. First of all, you look at what really happened during the Tet Offensive. The Tet Offensive, we kicked butt and took names. I mean, they exposed themselves. They exposed themselves in every hamlet and every city in Vietnam, and we killed them. We killed them in every hamlet and every city in Vietnam. And Walter Cronkite came back.
The VC. The VC were no longer a fighting force.
That's right.
The NVA
and what did Cronkite do?
Every coolie they could get their hands on.
And Cronkite came back and told the American people it was time to get out with honor.
Yeah,
and that was it from there.
Over there. We know he's a liar. He's still trying to lie for us.
So you're right. It does have a long history, and maybe we'll do a segment on that, just some of the old stuff that brought us to where we are today.
Well, if we don't know where we come from, Hutch, we're just going to trip on our shoelaces, man.
That's true.
Yeah, it's the old line. If you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Well, we're going to fall flat on our face for nothing.
I mean, you look at some of the students that are being the interview on the streets.
Yeah.
When they can't tell you when the War of 1812 was.
Well, they couldn't tell you the difference between Abraham Lincoln and Richard Nixon, man.
Well, no, they showed them pictures of different politicians.
Reagan.
They showed them pictures of Reagan and Nixon, and they were like, I don't know who that is, but they knew every single one of them knew who Kim Kardashian was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who won the Civil War?
And if you take a look at that whole family and what they've done. And it all goes back to the law field, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a lawyer, that's for sure.
Yeah. And, everybody loved Johnny Cochran. He was a flashy dude, right?
I didn't love him.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look, and here's the thing. You got these kids coming up, and they're looking at all these movies and everything. The only place to make a living in the black community is selling dope. I mean, if you go out and get a job, you're going to have the dope dealers coming because they know you got your money. And so how can they get ahead like that?
I don't know. We're out of time. Hickory, thanks for calling.
Thank you, brother.
All right, so some good things we covered tonight. I got to figure out why I don't sound loud enough. I'll do that on the off season, but good show tonight, Ward. Glad to have you back. I don't know what we're going to do next week, but we'll figure that out by next week. We'll let you know, ladies and gentlemen. Ward, how can people get in touch with you?
I'm on social media. You can find me on Gab at Wardy, and I'm at Wardy22 on Twitter.
All right, I'm Hutch Bailey Jr. on Facebook, Berg's Eye View on Twitter. I want to thank everybody for listening live and participating in the chat room. And thanks to everybody that called in. I know there's a whole lot more people out there. Give us a call next time. I'll be back tomorrow on Monday with Norway for Cold War Radio. Thanks for letting us into your life for 1 hour. God bless.